put all the pieces together. You guys are really good. Are you guys pros at making characters? Or?
Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Emilio. That's my friend Christian. We build characters for D&D 5e based on different prompts. If you've been enjoying our show, give us a like, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. And now, let's roll characters!
Nice.
Today we have a very special guest roller, Trevor Armstrong. Trevor is a Canadian who has been playing tabletop RPGs dating all the way back to 2E AD&D. He started producing content independently for DM's Guild, with his first big title being released in 2018 called Grimlore's Grimoire, a free supplement with over 200 new spells for 5e, many of which are referenced by the class that we will be rolling today. After that, Trevor led a small team to create the popular title Adaptable NPCs. This title has since become part of a series that has introduced unique backstories, art, and stat blocks for over 200 humanoids that dungeon masters can use to populate their world. Just this year, Trevor has founded a TTRPG company called Grim Press. And while they are still making 5e content for DM's Guild, they also sell stock art that other creators can use, and they adapt other people's products for use in Fantasy Grounds virtual tabletop. So, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to check out the Pale Master class from the Disturbed Graves supplement today.
So, Trevor, why don't you just give us a little bit of a taste of what the Pale Master has in store before we start rolling some stuff?
All of you D&D veterans out there, from 3rd edition, 3.5, there was the Prestige class called the Pale Master. So this is essentially a recreation of that. So a lot of the famous hallmarks are there. They get an undead graft where they replace part of their body with an undead creature. They have control over different undead. They can summon different creatures, and then there's a whole kind of spell repertoire that they have.
All right, guys, so we are going to roll for Ancestry Culture. Our class will be Pale Master, and then we will also roll for background and gender.
Okay, so we have a 9.
Oh, we're going to have mixed ancestry.
Oh, good. 3, 2.
Okay, elf-dwarf. Please roll us another d10 for culture.
It's a 9.
A 9 is actually a multicultural community.
Which makes a lot of sense for a half-elf, half-dwarf.
We're already making a lot of bridges here.
We already have our class, which is Pale Master. A d20, please.
3.
A criminal.
Oh, perfect.
A d4 for gender.
A 2.
It's a lady.
Trevor, I'm going to start with you. Do you have any initial thoughts for this character?
Yes, so many. I have so many thoughts.
So you have all of the thoughts.
I have all the thoughts.
Trevor, actually, you included some great initial questions in the supplement, and I was thinking about those. So, like, how did this character first come in contact with the undead? You know, why did they decide to study them? I'm imagining this is like a big, metropolitan, cosmopolitan city, all sorts of different types of people mixing there. And so could there be like an old necromancer in town that was doing some weird experiments? Is there just an area of town that has zombies or vampires or something in it?
The criminal background could even play into that this character worked for the necromancer originally, and then the tasks got a little too devious. And maybe they want to turn that around or something like that, right? And then that starts on the hero path.
Could the elegy of revenge be against their former master? Would that be the revenge? The person
well done.
So often with people who go down that criminal background, you think like maybe they were disadvantaged in some way. Maybe there was something that happened to them that made them indebted to a criminal.
Let's do some ability score rolls. So if you've been watching our show, you know that Chris and I have a competition here. We alternate our rolls and keep track of who rolls the highest each session. And now that we have a guest roller, we're going to add Trevor into the mix. Okay, Christian, you timid phase spider. Let's start with strength. And actually, we're going to let Trevor go first. Trevor, can you roll us 4d6? Drop the lowest.
So you insult him and then I get to roll. I like that.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I like that.
That's not good for me.
2 6s and 2 1s. So that's 13.
Oh. All right, roll dex.
11.
Here comes Constitution.
This is an important step.
Well, I will not disappoint. This is a 16, my friends.
Oh, wow.
This is my win. This is my win.
Man, I've been keeping you in the basement for so long. Trevor, how about an intelligence roll?
It's so good. I need to, screenshot it.
So those are sixes.
18.
Wow.
Is that a first on your show?
That is
Yes!
the first.
And that's it. That's the most important.
There's
I
no
was
coming
feeling
back.
so good about my constitution.
It's an 11.
Okay, well, you've let us down once again, Emilio. Charisma roll. Give me that sugar. Oh, not favored with a 9.
While I tally this up, Trevor, do you want to explain why intelligence and constitution are the primary abilities?
Obviously, intelligence is important because it is a arcane spellcaster, much in the same vein as a wizard. Constitution is important just because it gives them the presence of being. They are essentially taking on aspects of undead creatures, which are generally a little bit more hardy.
Right on. Well, we certainly nailed it. You won. Way to go. And really, when all is said and done, didn't we all win?
No, I think I won.
Yeah.
That was the first thing you said.
After that sound defeat, I think it's time to move on.
When we have a diverse cultural background, the charisma score goes up by 2, and then you get to choose 2 other ability scores to go up by 1. They will also
good.
get deception and stealth for their criminal background. We're going to get to choose 2 of any skill proficiencies, as well as 2 from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Religion, and Stealth. Let's start with the ones that come from the diverse cultural background.
I think Arcana makes a lot of sense if they're going to be a Pale Master generally. They're going to be doing something with magic.
I think maybe as a growing up with a criminal background, sleight of hand, even though our dexterity wasn't great.
Oh, I do like the idea that this person is so smart. Whatever their criminal thing is, they're able to do it with brains.
I think the discussion that we want to have really is about what is the criminal behavior. Organized crime, being the head of a gang, financial crime.
More something where they start out with petty theft, which is the sleight of hand. But because they're super smart, they start putting together the pieces that this necromancer actually is getting them to do. The bigger scheme that the necromancer's up to, and this is kind of their errand person to go and do all the things. And then at the end they get betrayed, and that's where the revenge Pale Master part comes in.
That could actually make a compelling case for history or religion, depending on the nature of the criminal activity that they were being sort of led by the nose to commit.
I think history makes sense in that aspect.
What is investigation? Is that wisdom?
No, that's intelligence. Actually, yeah, I don't know how we skip past
How we missed that one.
That's like the most obvious one.
Deception, stealth, Arcana, because of this, work they've gotten themselves involved in. Sleight of hand, because of the criminal activity that they were essentially hired for. And then history and investigation, for them to put together the pieces of this evil plan that they were unwittingly a part of. Let's really sort of put this whole thing together and see what we got here. So what was this criminal activity or this master plan that our elf-dwarf criminal uncovered?
Trevor?
Emilio?
So this is a major city. It's got to be something about, gaining control, taking something over. What generally would a necromancer, a powerful old necromancer in a big city be interested in doing?
I mean, most necromancers, I would say they are searching for immortality. That's a big one. So are we collecting souls? I think maybe our character is doing odd jobs for this necromancer and then starts to put together the pieces of what the necromancer's end goal might be.
What if the necromancer is running a legitimate business and it's a business that lets them gather souls? So maybe they run the local grave digging guild. They're seeing bodies come through often. They're connected with a lot of death. It seems on the up and up because that's their business. In this city, there are probably several different morgues and places that deal with the dead. Our character she figures out that there are all these lines between each of these businesses.
They're all
and she
connected.
Okay.
traces
So
that up to the top.
I'll take that, and I'll actually raise you once more. What if the necromancer is actually maybe the town priest?
Oh,
Yes!
And people
Yes.
are dying. I don't know, right? And
Yes.
I thought that person was savable, but they ended up not being, and then it collects their soul and
Oh, so
put
awful.
the pieces
Perfect.
together.
And so then our character is running some kind of minor scam around the church. This is kind of the thing I was mentioning off camera about this show Ozark, where maybe they're not, enslaved or sucked into this, but they actually uncover this scheme and they want to be a part of it because they see the potential to make
Oh,
money.
I really like that.
Yeah, and so they say, hey, I know what you're up to. You better, put me on the payroll. Let me get a little more involved, or else I'm going to let the authorities, the local paladins, know about what's happening here.
And maybe that's where our revenge story comes in.
We have had a chance to think about the personality traits, ideal, bond, and flaw. And we also figured out that based on this criminal background, that this character is a fence. And we've kind of worked that into the story where this powerful necromancer is running these churches where they pretend to heal people. And as a product of that, there are all these magical items, powerful items, armor, weapons, magic rings, and things like that are needing to be sold. And so this character, she is fencing those items. She is selling those items and getting the money back to the church.
To make them look like donations.
For our personality traits, Trevor, what have we chosen?
I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. And so we picked that for the inevitable moment when she finds out that the necromancer has betrayed her. She starts scheming and essentially making out a plan of how to proceed and how to extract her revenge. We've also picked, I am incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest often have the most to hide. And we picked this because we assumed she would have some kind of a bond with the necromancer, who is a high up clergyman in this church. She grows to trust this person, and ultimately that's what sets her down. With the betrayal is what sets her down her road for revenge.
For our ideal, we've chosen freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. And really, this character, they grew up without, much wealth or power. They've gotten into this criminal enterprise. They're now working for this powerful church and this powerful necromancer. They've started to recognize all of the structures in place around them that keep people like them down, that the different chains that society has placed on them. And so they just want to break all of those chains and to gain their own freedom.
For bond, we have someone I loved died because of a mistake I made. That will never happen again. And so as we were sort of going through this, the story that we started to create was that our character's sister was actually ill, and she brought her sister to the necromancer thinking that he was a priest who could heal her sister. And only later did she find that actually this necromancer took her sister's soul. And so it was due to a mistake that she made of trusting this necromancer. So here again, we see that violation of trust. For flaw, we have, when faced with a choice between money and my friends, I usually choose the money. And that's because that's what this criminal's background is. They're a fence. And so they have an eye toward money and how to, make money off of whatever sort of comes their way. And that's really what they're into, not so much sort of relationships. We are coming together with this really interesting elf-dwarf, pale master, criminal woman. And now it's the best part, the worst part. What is her name? I mean, I have an immediate thought, which is her name. Her first name could be Ozark.
Oh, we probably shouldn't rip that off too bad.
We'll rip off whatever we want to rip off. We're so under the radar.
This is our chance to rip things off.
Oh,
Yes,
I see.
exactly.
Till we get caught.
I mean, you could do interesting things like, Elven for death, right? Or Elven for revenge. Qualme means agony or death. Nuru means death. Teviye, Tevas.
How about Octavia?
Octavia? I mean, sure, it's a little our worldy, but
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think
okay.
that's good.
Octavia. What about last name?
Octavia Ozark.
I like Ozark.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, Octavia Ozark. I'm going to try to retell this story And you guys can jump in at any point with anything that I'm missing.
No, I'm just going to listen intently and assume that you're going to nail it.
Octavia Ozark is of elf-dwarf ancestry, and she came up in a diverse culture of a city. Her class is Pale Master. She has a criminal background, and really the story here is one of a woman who was very intelligent and really developed a skill around fencing items. You know, she has an eye for money and wealth and understanding the value of things. And part of that skill led her to actually become employed by a local priest. She even sort of brought her dear sister to go be healed by this priest, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But she continued to work for this priest, doing errands and various tasks here and there, and then eventually putting pieces together of this sort of like really puppet master quality of this priest. She actually uncovered that the priest is a necromancer and has been stealing souls from the people who have been brought over to him to heal. Upon learning this, she was devastated because she'd put her trust into him, and really, she lost her sister to this horrible villain. And she became so consumed by that violation of trust and her anger and desire for revenge that she turned to the Pale Master arts in order to exact her vengeance. And that is the story of Octavia Ozark.
All right, Christian, do we have our character?
Yeah, we do, and now so do all of you. You can go ahead and click the link below in the description for the PDF of Octavia Ozark.
And a huge thank you to Trevor for being on the show with us and for sharing this awesome class with us. Where can people find your work, your supplements, everything that you're doing?
Most of my stuff is on the DMs Guild. You guys can Google Trevor Armstrong DMs Guild. You'll find it all there. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, all of those good things. You can go to www.grimpress.net, and all of our products will be up there, whether they're on the DMs Guild. We're making some OGL content as well. You'll be able to find everything, stuff for Fantasy Grounds. You'll be able to find stock art that you guys can put into your own creations if you want.
And as always, if you're enjoying Less Roll Characters, give us a like, subscribe so you can stay up on the latest videos, and definitely leave us a comment. We want to see the kinds of characters that you'd like to see us bring to life, or let us know about other content creators that we should have on the show as guests.
Yeah, and thanks for watching.
Now go play some D&D.
Boom, 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 boom. Character.
So I'm just going to tell Christian that he smells like a donkey.
You know, this donkey has a kick, Emilio, and by the end of our rolls, you will have felt that kick. And you know where that kick's going to be? In the butt.
Oh dear.
Got any trash to talk there?
No,
Trevor?
I don't. This is really intense. I don't know if I...